Well, hi there, I'm Colin Lamb, aka the Tone Wizard, and I hope you're doing fantastic wherever you may happen to be. I'm doing great. Thank you very much for asking. I've got a very fancy beer here to drink. It's got a very nice, charming forest scene on the can, which is funny because after a couple of these, the last thing my fat bald ass is going to want to do is trudge out into the forest, especially with dusk approaching and the terrors that the night beholds awaiting me in the forest. So yeah, don't think I'll be trotting out into the forest. Gonna stay at home and drink a couple of these bad boys instead. And I'm pouring this thing in to the fanciest glass that I have, because it's quite a fancy little beer I've got here. And it's kind of funny because the fancy glass that I have is actually made by the company that makes the cheapest beer that I've ever drank. At any rate, cheers to you. Cheers to me. I'm detecting hints of baldness and pants that don't fit me anymore. Anyways, let's get right into it. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Greta van Fleet video that was put out, I think, yesterday, if I'm not correct. It's for The Falling Sky, which is a song off their upcoming new album. And I've reviewed a couple of Greta van Fleet tracks on the channel so far, and I've listened to a couple of songs. Now, I'll be honest with you, I haven't quite been hooked in. I wouldn't be what you would call a Greta van Fleet fan if I'm being honest, but I'm far from a Greta van Fleet, detractor. I think that what they're doing is great. I've interacted with many people in the comments on my previous videos. I've gotten messages from people who are in their 20s, people who are in their 60s, people who saw bands that they've been compared to actually back in the 70s. And the bottom line about this band is that people love them. And I'm not going to go much further into that end of the conversation. I'm just looking forward to checking out this new track, and maybe this will be the track that pulls me in. I turned it on and it ran while I was testing out the audio, which I'm hoping works out okay in this video. And it sounded pretty cool. So let's get right on into it. It's a pretty provocative image here just to start things off as I pull it up. The lead singer has got this very provocative posture. He's writhing around. And that's something that only young, skinny, beautiful people can do, because I kind of gave it a shot there myself, and I just look like exactly what I am. I look like a kind of dad bod 40-year-old bald guy trying to maybe get out of a float tank, right? Remember a couple of years ago trying to claw his way out of a goddamn float tank? Remember a couple of years ago when everybody was going on about float tanks? You're sitting in some salty water, you're probably peeing a little, you start thinking about your own fucking life and existence, and you transcend onto some plane of deeper meaning. God, fuck that. Just drink a beer and watch some rock and roll. At any rate, let's do exactly that. This is Greta van Fleet with The Falling Sky, live on the Tone 98 point, writhing in a float tank, trying to claw out and save your own life. Anyway.
Thank you, Sacramento. Okay.
Oh, Sacramento.
We've got a special night for you.
Look at that.
A very special night.
If you're wondering where the ladies are at.
Now, this is the very last show of the Dreams and Gold Circus.
People love this band. Those gold suits don't pay for themselves.
It's,
Look at that moose knuckle.
It's already nostalgic, you know? It's been the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, but here we are. And it feels like a beautiful grand finale. Thank you, everybody, for waiting and pouring in and making this a happening.
It's got the white mic. Sounds like a nice, gritty, just a really loud, there it is, a Marshall stack in the background. Nothing like a growling stack turned up. vocal. This sounds awesome. That SG just sounds like it's barely in control. I didn't know he played the harmonica. A little louder in this mix, but live. Frosty brew. Fuck off, you wee fly bastard, yeah. Okay, well. What did we just see? We saw a very tasty, very lively rock song performed by a band in the pomp of their youth, sparing no expense on glitter and stage presence, man. That was awesome. You know, as somebody who spent a lot of money on guitar pedals and particularly gain and distortion pedals over the years, I recently went and did a recording session where we just turned a Vox amp up really loud to get a huge sound. No pedals, nothing, just straight into the amp with a couple of room mics, getting a huge sound. And that's how people used to do guitars. And to my ears, that's what that sounds like to me in that video, is two huge Marshall amps just turned way up. I know that these days the crews and the guitar techs do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. There's a lot of equipment that they use, but that just sounds like a rock band just beating the shit out of everything that they've got. The drums and the bass were just kind of holding things down, and that was just kind of a rolling, relentless rock tune. And I would really like to, I need to go and maybe listen to that full album, maybe even do a full album review. I'm not too sure, but I did enjoy that video, and I do enjoy to see a rock band that looks like a goddamn rock band. There's a little bit of preening, a little bit of a whimsical side to it, but I mean, every rock band that I've ever loved has had something akin to that. Either they kind of go for that kind of David Bowie spaceman look, or you go the other route and you cover yourself with tattoos and wear obscure band shirts and denim and God knows what. But I love to see it. And truthfully, if these guys come my way, if Greta Van Fleet comes my way, I think I will go see them if they come up here to Vancouver before I leave, or when I move to Australia. If they come down that way, I think I would go see this band. And they're young enough that maybe someday I can take my son with me and he can go check them out. Of course, they'll be old by the time he's kind of old enough to get into that stuff. Now, just a backstory to this video is I was actually meaning to do a Tool reaction video, because I've talked about it a number of times on my channel that I've never really gotten into Tool. And I'll be 100% honest with you, even when I kind of skimmed through the videos to check out, I did hear Tool back in the day. And I did hear some of the songs, but it's just not lively. It just doesn't engage me. It doesn't capture me. It feels like nothing happens. I recently reviewed some King King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard stuff, and they have a song called Dragon that I reviewed, and I said it's like a Tool song, but something actually happens. And so I'm very glad that I found this video, because it was lively. It was obviously shorter, but it was exciting. Everybody in that crowd looked like they're having a good time. Maybe they'll put out some more concert footage from that show, or maybe this was just to support that track instead of doing a music video or whatever, which I think it's probably cheaper to do a live video like that than it is to do a big fancy flashy music video. But in any event, if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. Consider liking the video if you feel like it, and if you don't, that's fine as well. And if there's anything you'd like me to check out on the channel, please let me know down in the comments below. I'll have a brief look, and if I decide it's worth my clearly valuable time, you might just see it in a video. You take care now.